5.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video by your ultimate fave. Now, if you are new here today, you guys know the vibes. Please make sure to smash that subscribe button, and for all my returning subscribers, welcome to another video by your ultimate fave. Now guys, I'm definitely in the spirit of filming. I can assure you, hore, for the first 2-3 days I was feeling Vlogtober, and then another thing inside me was like, girl, you're almost 30. Where are you getting all this excitement, my babe? So because I'm obviously doing everything myself, I couldn't keep up with Vlogtober as much as I'd like to, but I will make sure to upload whatever I can. I'm filming like in bulk, and so I still need to edit, but I still have like work to do, and I have commitments set here too. So it's been quite difficult. It's been really difficult, obviously adhering to something I really love. However, that's not gonna be an issue because I'm gonna be giving you guys a lot of cool content today. So let me have a drink, child. So a lot of you guys know the old me used to develop some really cool concepts that I wanted to do on YouTube, and one of the things that I developed was called What's the One Thing? Now, I didn't want to do a Q&A, I didn't want to do all of that, and I was just like, ah man, what could I potentially do, like a sit down talk to video with my subbies where they could ask me whatever they wanted. And I asked myself, what's the one thing I could develop? What's the one video I could give? What's the one thing? And then what's the one just stuck? So I went on my Instagram today and I asked my subbies, what's the one thing? And that's going to be like my segment on YouTube now called What's the One Thing? Well, it's not going to be on some what's the one thing, but it's what's the one. I may or may have not had 2.5 glasses of Jameson. Select Reserve. Yes guys, so I developed a segment called What's the One Thing, and I want my subscribers to ask me whatever they want to know about what's the one thing they've always wanted to ask me. So without rambling too much, I just want to jump right into it because I have 2 videos to film now before the sun goes down, and then I have 2 videos to film later when the sun is down, because that's just how down I am, all while doing a vlog. Agnamali, there's no money in the South African economy, so I might as well just jump in it. Okay. So Anonymous said, what's the one thing you fear losing at the moment? Hey boy, how we gonna jump into something so deep? That's one thing I fear losing. My mind. I'm not even gonna lie. I literally fear losing my mind right now. I fear losing my sense of self, but I also fear losing money. Like, I've never been so money conscious. Like, guys, I count down to the last rand. Like, there's this thing that Frank taught me where when you like tip someone, obviously it's 10%, but like I tip the exact 10%. Back then I used to be, you know, Barack Obama, just throwing tips at everyone, just giving extra because it was in my capability to do so. But I can assure you now, my biggest fears are losing my mind and losing my money. Like, I ain't gonna lose my mind, I ain't gonna lose my money. The next anonymous said, what's the one thing you're grateful for? My health. And I know it's sounding too good. I'm grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for 2023. And the reason I'm grateful for it is because this was the one year where I was single. There was no year where I was single like 2023, guys. Remember when I said 2023 equals 2020 me? Oh my gosh. I wasn't literally saying it, but like I just felt like this year just said, block out the noise, focus on you. I wasn't really prepared to be in a relationship. Like, there were so many things I needed to fix, and I really feel like 2023 gave me the opportunity to do that. So it gave me the opportunity to fix myself, my mental, my physical, my spiritual, my, you know, everything about me that bothered me all these years prior. I was given an opportunity to work on. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my loved ones, and yeah, I'm just grateful for life, considering that life isn't so great right now. The next anonymous said, what's the one thing you wouldn't settle for in a relationship? Oh, that one's hard though. That one is so hard. Because I feel like I've put up with a lot of things, and as much as I want to say I have a deal breaker, I don't really believe in deal breakers. But if there was one thing I'm not going to settle for, is a compulsive liar. And I've picked that up in all my exes except one. All my exes were very similar when it came to lying. So Nathan, Drake, Kenneth, they were just really compulsive liars. And when I look back at it now, I think that's the one thing that really traumatized me. So it's the one thing I wouldn't settle for. I'm not saying don't cheat. Well, I'm also not saying cheat, my nigga. But even if you did cheat, I don't want you to lie to me out of fear of losing me, because the thing is, you don't know what my response is going to be. The thing about lying is that they take away your opportunity to make that decision by yourself. You know, if a man cheats on you and says, hey, Naledi, I made a mistake, you can decide to stay with him or leave him, now knowing the truth. When a man lies and says, I didn't cheat, and then he makes you a style, he makes you a fail pop, he makes you just a dumb cop there in the streets. No, I'm sorry. And I hate it so much. Oh, another thing I wouldn't settle for in a relationship, and this I'm very sure of, is dismissive behavior, like very toxic mental abuse, especially from ignoring, dismissing. I think I put up with that a lot, and I think it impacted me deeply, and I didn't realize until this year, where I had to admit that there are people whose approval I've yearned for, because they would mentally abuse me and put me in this dark place. So yeah, I also wouldn't settle for that as well. The next anonymous said, what's the one thing you've done for a gent or in a relationship that you'll never do? I'll probably never buy a man anything again. Okay, I'm probably lying, but honestly, now when I date with an open mind and an open heart, but also like an open brain. Like I'm no longer taking, how do I put it? I'm no longer taking men's lies at face value. Like for me, the loving thing to do is to spoil my man and to show my man love and to do that for my man, cook for my man. But I realized that even in doing those things, men don't care. Men don't care, dude. They will still cheat on you even if you gave them sex 3 times a week, cooked for them, taught their mom how to cook, took care of their stepkids. Like, you could be Captain America and a man will still cheat, okay? Like, I just need you guys to understand that a man is not worth it. I'm a daughter. I still have to film a story time later about mystery, but there's a video I need to film before that, and that's going to determine if I'm gonna film that story time about mystery. But trust and believe, after him, I'm fucking done. Someone said, what's the one thing you learned when you were 23? What year was that? What year was that? What year was that when I was 23? I know I was still dating Drake, but when I was 21, when I turned 21, that was 2016. Yeah, because I graduated in I matriculated in 2012. So I would have been 18. 19, 2013. 20, 2014. 21, 2015. 22, 2016. And 23, 2007. Nah, 2017 rocked me. I think the biggest lesson of 2017, because I was with Drake and it was at the height, at the, you know, the pinnacle of all the abuse I'd endured. But I don't remember much about it. It all felt like a blaze. Like it all felt like a blur, a mirage. But I don't remember what I fucking did in 2017, but I can remember what I experienced in 2017. So because those are two different things, I'm not going to answer. But there was nothing I learned. I still didn't leave him. I didn't leave him in 2018 or 2019. So I learned nothing, babe. Like, I learned nothing. I stayed with that toxic man and I still loved him through and through. Anonymous said, what's the one thing that gives you anxiety? People who are late. People who don't communicate their feelings. When things don't go my way. Like if I'm late, I get anxiety. If someone is late, I get anxiety because I think of the worst thing. Like, what if they're in an accident? What if they got stopped by the cops? What if they're getting hijacked? Like, I think of so many things that could go wrong. I'm definitely a person who's very quick to panic. And I always think of the worst thing. So I don't know, a lot of things give me anxiety. Oh shit! You know what gives me anxiety right now? When I see Naledi trending on Twitter, I lose it. I'm just like, I'm just like, what the fuck now? What the fuck did I do now? You know what I mean? So that gives me so much anxiety. But then everything else, like my loved ones, like when my loved ones have to travel, when they go out of town, I get so much anxiety over things like that. So I just want to make sure they're safe, they're okay. Yeah, I've noticed that when people are late, I get anxiety from like the weirdest things, but it's mostly family related or like my friends or my loved ones. You know what I mean? Anything that involves a woman who's traveling alone at night gives me anxiety. Someone said, what's the one thing you hate about being single? Oh, having no one to share my jokes with, having no one to share my series with, having no one to say good morning and good night to, having no one who asks me if I've eaten today. I think being single is comforting because now I don't have to be in a toxic space. I don't have to be in a toxic mindset. However, the downside of being single is realizing that there's no one out there who's looking out for you besides your parents. There's no one who's getting angry at you for not answering your phone 2 hours back. There's no one who's tripping because they're in love with you. There's no one who's asking, baby, are you okay? Talk to me. There's no one who sees my name trending on the TL and says, baby, switch off your phone, don't focus. I think the last person who did that for me and was very, very proactive in my relationship and definitely got me out of a bad mental space was Frank. Frank knew. That boy, guys, that guy, he knew. When he saw, he was like, baby, yeah, switch it. Baby, no, don't allow it to get, you see what they're saying about me, they hate me. So my job requires and it takes a lot out of me, and I feel like a lot of the time my cup is empty. And what I miss about having someone in my life is that someone would fill that emptiness with love, with affirmation, with reassurance, with care, with TLC. And as much as I get all of that from my family and stuff, like I said, this year I experienced a lot where I felt like at times so yeah, I just miss that concern. I miss someone just caring about me with no strings attached. Like I said, with my family members, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of care, but there's also a lot of stress because when they talk to me, it's always with sharing each other's problems. Like I can't go to them and tell them how my day was without wondering if they're okay. So I can't. What's the one thing, Anonymous said, what is the one thing you have to remind yourself every day and why? I need to remind myself that I'm the shit. I need to remind myself that I'm Naledi M. Because I tend to forget and I tend to dwell with everyone. I tend to dwell in everyone's opinion of me, not realizing that these are people who don't know me. These are complete strangers. Like these are people who know nothing about me outside of what I present to them on social media. So that's the one thing I have to remind myself, because I tend to get really caught up in my feelings about it when someone doesn't like me or like my persona or anything like that. I tend to get really hung up over it. So at times I need to remember that it's not people's dislike for me as a person. It's people's dislike for me as a personality, you know? Some people just don't like me because I rub them up the wrong way. It's not because they've met me. It's not because they've experienced me. It's just because they just don't like me. Naledi M. They just don't like me. You know what I mean? So I have to remind myself that quite often, every day actually. Someone said, what's the one thing you'll never stop thanking God for achievement-wise? My education. I'll never stop thanking God for that. For not having a baby in this economy. I'll never stop thanking God for that. And most importantly, for what I've achieved career-wise. I think that's my biggest gratitude when it comes to thanking God, because I can help my loved ones. I am physically and emotionally and financially present when they need me. And that's the one thing I'm grateful for, because I didn't work this hard just to work this hard, you know? I have people that when they depend on me, I can be there. I've always wanted to be with someone who is reliable, and my dad has always been the most reliable person ever. And I realize the sacrifices he's made for us and my family. And even sometimes when it gets hard, I feel at ease knowing that I'm helping the one person who's never deserted or abandoned me. So yeah, I'm grateful for who I am now and what I can impart on my loved ones. Someone said, what's the one thing about groove? I can live without it. What's the one thing I like or I hate about groove? The one thing about groove is that I can live without it, really. I really can live without groove. Guys, Konka's like 15 minutes drive from here. And the last time I was at Konka before the Sunday when I was there, like maybe 2 weeks back, the last time I was there was March. So I'm good. Someone said, what's the one thing you believe was the key to your weight loss? Sugar. Cutting off sugar. You know what, dude? Carbs, there's something called complex carbs. So carbs can play a sufficient role in your life, granted that you eat the right carbs and you eat them at certain times of the day. But when it boils down to the thick of it, the key thing to weight loss was cutting off sugar. Coke, cold drink, Coca-Cola, dash, tonic, cutting off all those things. And it was like cold turkey with that. It was so difficult, but it was so worth it. Fizzy drinks, ciders. I'm a cider, guys. Oh gosh. Man tried 24 in one sitting. Oh. Anonymous asked me a difficult one. She said, what's the one thing you wish you did differently in any field? Wait, friendship or relationship? Okay. What's the one thing I wish I did differently in any field? Friendship. I think I have no wishes on what I could have done differently. I think I'm one of those people who's been very temperamental, but I've tried my best to control that, especially in my friendships. So the only thing that I wish I had done differently in a failed friendship was to allow myself to stop blaming myself as though I was the only one who contributed to the failure of that thing. Because my thing is, I love my friends, but I'm very emotional. So if you cut me off, you better cut me off forever, like Cardi B said, you know? I think I've dealt with constantly being at the mercy of my friends because they were always so much stronger than me. They were always very, you know, hell-bent in their word. And I wasn't, because I loved them so dearly. So I took whatever they gave at me, whatever they threw at me. So if there's one thing I wish I did differently, I wish I had called the bullshit out sooner rather than later in a friendship. But in a relationship, I really wish I had managed my temper. I really wish I'd managed my communication when it comes to how I respond to my loved ones, my partners, because I feel like I used to be very cruel in my anger, you know. I used to be very vindictive when I was angry, in the sense that I wanted to hurt you with my words, you know. And it's the one thing, when I look back at it, I wish I could take back. I really do. But also, it's also a learning curve, because now with the men in my life now, when they upset me, I can address the situation without feeling like I'm disrespecting the person in question. So that's pretty much where it is. I have no regrets when it comes to the people I've lost, because I know that they were not meant to be in my space forever. So it's fine. No. I have one friend whom I still leave room for, because deep down I believe she's very stubborn, and I'm also very stubborn. But that's my bitch, and I'm gonna stick beside her through and through till death do us part, literally. Even though we're not on good. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you hate about yourself? My low self-esteem. Oh man, I hate it. Yo, thinking I'm not as good enough as my peers. Having my friends have to remind me every day that I am the person I think I am. I have such bad imposter syndrome, and I'm working through it and I'm fighting through it. But every time someone comes at me sideways, I'm like, damn, maybe you're right. You know, I feel like I have this really weird, I don't want to call it a demon, but I have this really weird, complex creature sitting on the edge of my shoulder, reminding me how I'm not good enough. You know, reminding me to always be humble because I can always be checked. You know, so I have a really low self-esteem at times, and that's why I let people bankibeli kanda, and I hate it, and I'm working on it now, but I still feel a lot of self-hatred at times that I battle with all the time. Someone said, what's the one thing you wish you could have done differently in your life? I wish I could have cherished my mom if I had known that our time was going to come to an end. I wish I could have been the better child. But then when I look at it now, there was nothing I could have done differently. I was in high school. I knew nothing about nothing. I constantly felt compared to my siblings. I didn't have the greatest relationship with my father. I didn't have the greatest relationship with her either. Girl, like, this is all y'all's fault. I was a child. Haibo. But I wish I had just understood that everything she did was in my best interest. But I think everything that I've been, you know, granted now and all the achievements has been my mother working in my favor regardless, because she knows the pain I've endured from her loss, and she constantly reminds me through these gracious things that I receive from God that she's there through and through. So I think I've forgiven myself for that, but it's still a difficult one to deal with. Someone said, what's the one thing you'd say to your former friends? Nothing to all of them, just one. The other one, I'd be like, are we done arguing? Because I miss you, bitch. No, I do. I miss her and I look at her stuff all the time. And I think about it all the time. Like, as a matter of fact, like, she sits here like a fucking annoying itch when you clean something and then you feel like it's just attacking you. But the one thing I'd say to one of them is that I miss you and I love you and we're family. I don't regard you as a friend. So when we surpass this thing, I will be right here in the same place where you left me, waiting for us to be okay. That's what I'd say. What's the one thing you were embarrassed to buy from a pharmacy or clicks? A pregnancy test. And a morning after. The morning after was even more embarrassing, because the morning after was bankamele, yeah, so I used to hate it. Not as bad as a pregnancy test, because the pregnancy test is banrutetse, I'm just not sure what's happening. But then the morning after is, I can assure you yeah, no, guys, what are those two? That was just bad. Oh, you know what was also bad? You know what was also embarrassing to buy? The vaginal cream. So I know the girlies know what Metro Gel is. Metro Gel is obviously that cream that helps with any sort of, you know, vaginal infection, vaginal bacteria, you know, just the change in your pH balance, you feeling thrashy and stuff. You know what I do? I just make small talk. It used to embarrass me back then, but now I look them dead in the eye and say, hey, bashimani ba kangane, bashimani ba sebane, awo swipe mo, laro tom prekis to pagsamang, naki ba baby mama ya mpon, nshebo mpon, never. But I will say this. It's more difficult now knowing who I am by pregnancy test. It's just crazy. Like, it's just, oh my God, there was this nurse where I was just doing like an HIV test and I walked in and she was like, hey, ultimate fave. And I was just like, ah. Ultimate fave. Intros are zitten mwah. Like, as an ultimate fave, you're definitely HIV positive. Ultimate fave, you're HIV negative. Ultimate fave, you grand, but you might have, you know. So it's become a lot more difficult. I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, it's just those things. Anything that has to do with the vagina. A girl said, Anonymous said, what's the one thing that made you realize he hates you? So this is definitely directed to Nathan. I think Nathan has a different coping mechanism to mine. Mine is constructive conflict. His is fight or flight and no flight. And I think he hates me. He hates me, dog. Nah. I think he hates me. I just want it to be known. I fucking hate you too, fucker. Says. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you dislike about being a full-time content creator? The expectation. Yo, guys. Yarr. Every time someone sees you in the street, oh, don't forget we want that vlog. Or when you go out looking like a hobo, you know, and you're really trying to hide, it's like, oh my God, and you're like, keep it down. Like, dog, I'm losing sunshine. Bro, the expectation of being a content creator is that you always need to be at your peak. And it's like, I get it, because all my content creators, all my baddies are at their peaks. Not me though. Y'all be safe, okay? I can wake up and go out in sweats. Did you guys see how Halle looked? She was looking relaxed. The American, like, celebrities, are celebrities and then they look like normal people, look like, you know, ugly on a day-to-day basis. South African content creators, you guys are looking good from Monday to Monday. It's like, where do you get the energy? Where do you get the nerve, the gall, the bladder? Like, relax. I can't. Guys, stop putting pressure on us. And by us, I mean me. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you'd want to change in your life currently? My money problems. And by my money problems, I mean like, I feel like, I feel like the World Bank right now, dog. I'm just tired. I just wish I didn't have so many burdens. And the burdens aren't necessarily me, but they're very like burden adjacent. It's like when you have to help your loved ones because you have no choice. But you're just like, but God, give me a break, bro. Give me a break. So I just wish. Someone said, what's the one thing you despise? I don't think I have anything I despise. Hate? Yeah. Despise? It's a family member. It's a family member. I've spoken to him in over 10 years and I never will. But it's either or put the knife in my neck. Someone said, what's the one thing you love about being a TV host or presenter? The one thing I love is being able to interact with like my loved ones. When I say my loved ones, I'm actually referring to like, you know, people who follow me, people who really support the dream. I'm not gonna lie, one thing I've enjoyed is the Channel O campus activations because a lot of my audience is in university. So I haven't been able to do like a meet and greet because I've had to think about the constraints, time, money, location, and just accessibility for the people that really show support. And the people that show support are very young people. I don't really have a range of large audience that has more money at their disposal. So doing the campus activations has been really cool because I've gotten to meet, you know, my loved ones, my subscribers, without them having to take out a cent. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I love, is that I'm with a brand that's giving back. And you know, had someone asked me would I see myself doing this like 2 years ago, I would have said no, right? Because I always thought television is very self-centered. They're very like absorbed, just wanting to make money, just wanting to get the outcome, and of which to a certain degree, yeah, everyone's gonna hit their KPIs. But when I heard about this campus activation, I was never actually the candidate for it. And I called up some people and I was like, I would like to do something like this. I would like to be more, you know, out there in the field, more so than I am on television. And they were like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, because I feel like my audience is there. And didn't you guys, you know, onboard me, you know? So personally, I felt like maybe they were associating me with being a television presenter, TV based only, and I wanted to do more interactive things. I wanted to go out to the audience. I didn't always want the audience to have to switch on a television to see me. So I did this campus activation and I really, really like it. I think it's my favorite part. I think this has to be my favorite journey with Channel O, the campus activations. I love my top 5, but I love the let's go out there and let's be with our audience more. Anyway, child, let me do a few more. Someone said, what's the one thing that irritates you most? Oh, when my kitchen's dirty and my toilets. Yes. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you want to do that you haven't done yet sexually? I don't think there's anything I want to do that I haven't done. Hey man, I'm a very open to exploration kind of girl. I will do anything and everything. I am game always. I mean, it takes a lot out of me, but I am always ready for the task at hand. So I don't think there's anything that I've wanted to do that I haven't done. I think maybe the Mile High Club. I know. I don't know any niggas that got jets and shit. I definitely want to be part of the Mile High Club. For anybody who doesn't know what the Mile High Club means, Google it. Like, I I can't tell you what it means. I've got a young audience. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you always misplace? My hand lotion and my studs. I always lose my studs. I always lose my studs and I always lose my hand lotion. Those are the things I constantly misplace all the time. Never find them. I've gotten used to it and that's it. Someone said, what's the one thing you think of and you just laugh? What is the one thing that I think of and I just laugh? There's a lot of things that I think of and I just laugh, eh? Can't believe I'm saying this. But the one thing that I think of and I just laugh is the one time where I shot myself. Yeah. But it was a long time ago. And I'm not telling the story time, but my sister kind of egged it on when we did like a collab. But to shot means to think you're farting, but then you shit, so you shot. I'm not gonna talk about it. Next. All I can assure you is that it was 10 years ago. What? Yay! What a time! Yay! But it didn't happen the way you think it did, like in the midst of people. And shh. Someone said, what's the one thing you don't find funny? I don't know. I'm just very hilarious, dude. I'll laugh at anything. Like, it's really ever that I don't find anything funny. Really ever. Someone said, what's the one thing you've noticed that your exes have in common? They're all compulsive liars. All of them. They're all compulsive liars and they're also hood niggas. Guys, yeah. When I was telling us I'm gonna eat. I love hood niggas. I love people who go, when he says, Jasmine, maybe. John wants something to our well. Yeah, I love hood niggas. Ooh, they're all hood niggas. They're all from the hood. Oh, what's up, Pumanaga? Oh, what is Otua Spray Tea? Oh, what is Otua Alex? Yeah, no, they're all hood niggas. They're all hood niggas. Someone said, what's the one thing you've ever stolen from your parents? So from my dad, I always steal his basketball shorts. So my dad likes these shorts from Adidas and like Nike. So every time I go home, I steal those shorts because I don't want to buy them myself. And all my exes used to ask, like, these aren't your shorts. And I'm like, they're my father's. They literally my dad's. And I steal all my dad's jackets, bomber jackets, summer jackets, thug jackets, every single jacket you can think of. Oh, Hackett, oh, Hallie Henson, oh, yeah. In here, Gant. I'm a thug. And then for my mom, my stepmom, the one who's alive, I steal all her socks. Because she buys all these nice fuzzy socks and she buys like onesies. Okay, I stole a onesie from her once. What's the one thing about interracial dating? What's the one thing I like or dislike? Okay, so the only one thing about it that I've always wondered is like, how do you get upset in English? It's gonna take the Lord's strength out of me. I like interracial dating. I think seeing people who are breaking those barriers is a really good thing because let's be honest, we still have a lot of racism embedded in South Africa. Okay, like even if a white guy were to date me, I would wonder if he's just dating me just to be that guy that cares about black people. And if I were to date a white guy, I would always wonder, does his family really care about me? You know what I mean? And if I were to date a white guy, I'd always like shout at him in suits and then swear at him in suits and be like, what's that? And I was like, nothing. I don't know. But it's all rooted somewhere deep in racism. And I would never want to feel inferior to my significant other. And I think that's where it boils down to. You know? Nah, I'm good. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you just can't let go of? The hate strangers. I can let go of that shit. No, I'll come back to that one. Someone said, what's the one thing you miss about Drake? And I'll be honest. The one thing I miss about Drake is that Drake was just as affectionate as me. So if I didn't speak to him for 2 hours, there was a problem. Like, he was just very, he told me a lot of things about myself in a relationship that I enjoyed. And I think one of the reasons why our relationship lasted as long as it did is because he was fully committed to me as I was to him. So he always wanted the nomfazi and, you know, ENQUIRIES marriage and kids and all that other riffraff that he knew deep down. I was just like, feed us the leaders of the stove. But out of all my exes, the one who was always affectionate, who showed love, who fought for me through and through, the one person, if I didn't speak to him for a few hours, he would be concerned. The one person who picked up on my eating habits and he would buy me my favorite. Trick makes me sick. Like, he's still like, I don't think any of my exes have ever topped Drake when it comes to love. When it comes to a man who's like, my wife every morning drinks orange juice. He's just very observant. But then again, he was a Virgo, and Virgos are killers. So that's why they're observant, because they plan before they kill you type of thing. But he was observant. He knew all the things that I loved. He knew all the things that I didn't like. He knew where to take me and where not to take me. He knew that every morning at the office I would order a sandwich. He was just very present. And I haven't really ever felt that ever since, like, all my other relationships. I haven't really felt what a committed relationship where your thoughts are encompassed of me and my partner. I haven't really felt that. And I think a large part of it is because when him and I broke up, I switched off. I didn't really want to be in a committed relationship. So even maybe the guys who were as committed to me, I didn't pick it up. I think the only other person who was as committed to me was Frank. And with Frank, I was at a point where I really wanted to try. Nathan and Kenneth, nah, I wasn't in it. And yeah, no. Nathan was a one-night stand, which blew out into I Care About You. And then Kenneth was also a one-night stand, which blew out. Oh my God. True, these are facts. Someone said, what's the one thing about having a bodyguard? I don't have one. I don't have one. What the fuck? I wouldn't know. How am I gonna give examples of that? Anonymous said, what's the one thing you hate about down low men? They're cheating. I don't really hate them anymore because I don't want people in my business. I don't want people in my business. Someone said, what's the one thing you would sell bums for? 50 million. Hey man, I've been watching The Fall of the House of Usher, and basically Roderick Usher offered all his kids 50 million, and I was just like, shit, for 50 million I'd kill all of them. But guys, I'm thinking from a state of poverty right now. The economy isn't working for us. 50 million. What's the one thing you wish people would stop asking you about? Oh, what's the one thing you wish people would stop asking you about that whole Hubley situation? Like, pockets. I do it out of courtesy, I do it out of respect, but pocket, really. Someone said, what's the one thing you regret doing regarding your YouTube? Nah, no regrets. No regrets. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you miss about university? Absolutely nothing. My university was horrendous. Anonymous said, what's the one thing that you learned the hard way? Loving someone whom I knew was not good for me. And saws and the world made me leave him. Shem. Someone said, what's the one thing you like most about your personality? I'm super relatable. Like, the rich of the rich love me. Like, I've been in spaces with some of the richest men, and they've been like, you're such a breath of fresh air. You make jokes, you keep it moving. And even in the hood, they'll be like, Naledi, I can gel in each and every single space you put me in. I have allowed myself to think outside. Like, I can really kind of gauge the space that I'm in, but it's a result of my experience. Like, it's a result of my humility. It's a result of, you're not better than anybody else, you know? Ungazofika wena ngoba usitshela ukuthi fanele sofile manje basukubulisa Princess Diana. Get up to that boy. Someone said, what's the one thing you want to do to Robot Boy? The one thing I want to do to Robot Boy is to give him a hand in prayer. And then whilst I pray for him, I want to access the thing that he gets, and I want to impart it on my side. Guys, Robot Boy is getting gigs. He is the boy. I don't want to do anything to Robot Boy outside of like get his gigs. I want to switch lives and see how he makes this money so I can do the same thing. Ooh, Robot Boy na mali. Someone said, what's the one thing you hate about social media? It's toxic. And maybe toxic is a very easy word. It's buzzy, it's buzzwordy, but I hate how we've all embraced and kind of, you know, assert this whole toxicity on the TL, like especially Twitter. Oh, and Instagram will force to look a certain way, and YouTube will force to make you laugh and give you content and live lives that aren't really there. And that's why I never wanted to do that. Like, I've never wanted to be someone that I'm not, and I've sticked by that narrative for the longest of time, even at the detriment of me. I don't get invited to perfume events. I don't get invited to the luxury cute events, and I've always wondered why, but it's because I've always never wanted to stray and lie and create a narrative that wasn't there. But invite me to them damn perfume events. Fuck. Okay, last one. Anonymous said, what's the one thing you don't eat? Nothing. Oh, but I can tell you the one thing I'm allergic to, and I only found that out this year. Kale. I'm allergic to kale. I'm allergic to kale. Like, I still can't bring myself to understand. Maybe it's not kale, but I ate this meal at Woolies, and it was it was toast on avo and egg, and then they would add sprinkles of kale and whatever else they were adding. But something in that meal at Woolies I'm allergic to, and I think it's kale because everything else I've had. You know what I mean? No, but then they have this other thing they have on there. It's almost like a hummus type of thing, but I don't know if it is hummus. But yeah, I'm allergic to kale as far as I'm aware. Okay, and then the last anonymous said, what's the one thing you can't go a day without doing? You guys are gonna hate me for this because this one is toxic. But the one thing I can't go a day without doing, and this has been happening maybe since the year began, I step on the scale. I wake up in the morning and I step on the scale. But guys, you're aware that it had to do with my weight loss kind of regime. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is part one of what's the one thing. I think I'm gonna do this a lot more because I had a lot more questions, but I obviously didn't want to make the video too long. Comment down below, let me know which one you liked. But until then, I will see you guys on the next video of What's the One Thing segment by your ultimate fave.